to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a homemade pot of soup, and this soup is something that I made with my children when they were little, because every time they came home from school and they were hungry, and especially around Halloween time, I made sure that I had a big pot of soup on the stove so that they would have that before they went out trick-or-treating. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when I post a new video, which will be put out weekly. So let's get started. You're going to be putting lots of vegetables in there. So a big pot is good, and turn up your heat, which I'm doing right now. And I'm going to be putting a little bit of butter. First of all, I'm melting the butter, then putting the garlic in once it's all sauteed. So it's always nice to have a homemade soup. And having a homemade soup, you just have all this flavor that you can activate all the flavor when you want it. And so there's a huge benefit to sauteing the garlic with your butter and then adding your onions. And then what I do is I add my meat. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the freeze-dried meat while the butter is melting. So what I'm using today is the freeze-dried shredded beef. This shredded beef is so delicious. It tastes like it's been slow cooked. So I refreshed it in advance. And so I put boiling water on it and I refreshed it so that it's in the form, it's already been like cooked. So, and then freeze dried. So really the flavor is pretty intense right now because it's already been cooked. So once I add it to my vegetables, then I brown it. Okay, so browning it creates that good flavor along with the garlic and the onions, and that's what I'll be doing today. Okay, so I'm just going to put that off to the side. But if you want this food in your pantry too, you can always go to thrivelifeannie.com, and that's where you can find this great product. Okay, now so we're starting to get some activity here, which is awesome. And I'm going to put in some of this Russian garlic that I chopped up. And I love garlic. And this one's right from the farmer's market, which is awesome. Okay, so I'm adding that in, and I'm going to just turn up the heat just a little, but keep in mind, you don't want to burn the garlic, because if you burn the garlic, it'll go all brown and it'll have a bitter taste. So avoid burning the garlic, okay? I can already start smelling it. Ooh, that's amazing. All right, and I'm going to be getting a bit of water to put in there once, so I'll just add a little bit of water to this. Okay, once I get it to the point where I want it, because again, that's how you prevent the burning, okay? All right, so I'm going to be adding the onions, which I have a full onion there, and the reason why I did not use my Thrive onions, which is normally what I do, is because I wanted the big chunks. Everything is kind of, even the rolls, the carrot rolls are in big chunks. The celery is in larger chunks. And so I can do that with a fresh. All right, so that's happening. That's awesome. Okay, a little bit of water to prevent, just to prevent the burning. All right, there we go. So I'm just gonna saute this. Onions always, they're good antioxidant, but they always add to the flavor. They add an awesome flavor. And so I put onions in almost everything. Again, I use my already chopped onions, but here I chopped them in advance so I wouldn't do all that crying. So, okay. So there we go. It's coming along quite nicely. Now, you've got to wait at each stage. You don't want to rush the stage. You want to be able to make sure that the onions are a little bit translucent and they are starting to come to that stage. All right, and then there's still some parts of the onion that still have to cook through. And with all the other vegetables, it does an awesome job of doing that. So that's why I don't want them fully cooked. I just like them a little bit cook through so they're a little translucent. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding the freeze-dried meat to it. Now, there's still some moisture at the bottom, but this will be part of my liquid that I add. So I'm just adding all of the meat right now, and then I'll keep the balance of the liquid. I'm going to be keeping that to add to the mix, the sauce. Okay. All right, so there we go. So here I am just frying all this up. Oh, you can smell this. Oh, it's amazing. I love a homemade soup. I absolutely love to see my family eat it. There's something to be said about a homemade soup for family with maybe some cornbread or some fresh bread out of the oven. That's amazing. Okay. All right, so that's gonna brown a little bit more, and that's what I'd like to do here. Okay. Is that looking delicious or what? That's awesome. Oh, that goodness. Okay. All right. Now I'm at the stage where I'm going to add the balance. Now you can let this fry up a little bit more if you would like, so the meat is all browned. No problem. It'll do that. It'd be great. But at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of my beef broth. Okay. So I'm going to add the beef broth in here. And I do that so that I can get everything blended well. Okay. Everyone does it a little bit differently, but I like to emulsify all the little chunks of powder. I don't want that to be in my soup at the end. All right. Okay, so then I'm going to add my celery. And celery can be added with the onions if you want. Okay, so it can be added with the onions, or you can just add it, and that has a nice smell to it too. Okay. Okay, so now I'm ready to add the remaining ingredients. So I'm putting in some sweet potatoes, some regular potatoes, some carrot rolls. I love green onion, so I love to add that as well. A little bit of cilantro. Now, I must say, there's something that always used to happen in my kitchen when I was peeling my carrots or celery, mostly carrots. I would be peeling the carrots, and every time I was peeling them, they disappeared. My kids love eating a full stick of carrot, just like that. So I would peel them and then give them to them, and then they would be chewing on their carrot, which is awesome. And I love that. So they were getting goodness before even the goodness was finished. Okay. All right, now I'm going to add a bit of bok choy, which is Chinese cabbage. Love to add that because it adds a nice flavor. Cabbage always tends to add a little bit of that kick that you're looking for in a soup. So adding that is nice. Now I'm going to be adding all the moisture that I need. So I'm going to take this off the stove. I'm going to add all the moisture, and then I'll be adding a few seasonings to it. Okay. So back to the hot plate. All right. There we go. Now again, my favorite seasoning of choice is the chef's choice, and I'm going to just be adding a bunch of that in. You can add salt and pepper. Okay, now I have the balance of the gravy or the meat sauce, and that's awesome. We don't want to lose that. All right, so I let this simmer probably for about 15 to 20 minutes on high, and to keep all that moisture in, I just need to put a lid on it, and I let that simmer, and then once it gets to the boil stage, then I turn it down to simmer. So, and it just stays on the stove for a few hours, and the longer it stays, the more flavor you get. But that is my soup of the day. So if you are interested in that, just give me a thumbs up and comment below Halloween soup. Thank you for joining me today. Enjoy this soup and have it for your family, and share it with others.